Good morning, sunshine. This is Dee-Dee Devon here to share with you day 3 of what I eat for breakfast. This morning's breakfast is undoubtedly one of my all-time favorites, so I really hope you give it a try. It's my version of a grain-free, dairy-free, sugar-free oatmeal. And if you don't like the sound of that, how about oatmeal on steroids? Because this is one power-packed breakfast that you could literally run a marathon on. Now, I'm not going to show you how to make it because it takes a little longer than I'm sure you want to watch, but the recipe and detailed instructions are included with this video. Instead, what I'd really like to share with you is the quirks and perks of oatmeal in general. Like I've said before, I really don't enjoy cooking. I've had 4 children and I'm really over it. But what I do love are the results and the benefits. So when I do cook, I always cook once and eat at least twice, meaning I always make enough for leftovers. So ultimately, I'm not tied to the stove with a ball and chain. And when I do cook at home, I'm getting a few extra vitamins that you won't find in any fast food restaurant. And those are vitamin L, which stands for love, and vitamin H, which stands for homemade. And energetically, even if I could get the exact same food in a restaurant, it's different than if you ate it and made it at home. So what I wanted to point out again are some perks and quirks about oatmeal. And I know it can be really frustrating, especially when you're trying to be healthy and doing what you thought was right. One of the most common things I see in my practice is that new clients proudly hand over their food journals thinking their diets are healthy for the most part. So they're confused about why they can't lose weight or why they're feeling tired, bloated, and have brain fog. Many of these folks are eating the instant oatmeal in packages because, who has time to cook in the morning, right? It's fast and easy. But did you know that one little packet of Quaker Oats, maple and brown sugar, healthy, right? Instant oatmeal has a similar macronutrient profile to 4 Twizzlers or 2 fat-free Fudgicle bars or a York peppermint patty or a Klondike bar, and even a cup of Kellogg's SpongeBob SquarePants breakfast cereal. So I remember when my kids were little and I was in a hurry and I had 4 of them to get out the door, I'd give them not 1 but 2 packets, stir it up. So again, I just have to forgive myself for what I didn't know before I knew it. There is very little protein or even enough calories to keep you full for that matter in this meal, but also a lot of carb and refined sugar. Here's what happens when you eat a grain-based meal with refined sugar. Because there is little protein and fiber in this meal, the grains break down quickly into sugar and the refined sugar is quickly absorbed into the bloodstream, raising your blood glucose levels and triggering the pancreas to release insulin to move the glucose into the cells so the blood sugar doesn't rise too high. And since only so much glucose is needed in the cell, the rest is converted to fat and stored. You only really need about 2 teaspoons of circulating glucose in your bloodstream. So the excess is stored as fat if you don't burn it off. So this is why sugar makes you fat. And even if you do burn all the sugar off, you're still not going to be burning any stored fat, because you have a steady supply of glucose to burn. So higher carb diets are not ideal for weight loss. But I hear, I'm not eating instant oatmeal in the packet, you say. Okay, let's get back to the regular oatmeal. Let's say you're eating the regular stuff and making it yourself, avoiding the instant kind. And I'm talking here about the 20-minute steel cut kind. While that's a better step, it's still not for everyone. 1 cup of cooked oatmeal has about 20 grams of carbs and 6 grams of protein. And you may not think that sounds so bad, but because it also has the texture and taste of glue, you're probably not eating it plain. So let's say you're adding a banana and some honey to that. So that is an additional 44 grams of carbs for the banana and a tablespoon of honey. That puts your breakfast now at 72 grams of carbs and about 32 grams of sugar. That equals 8 teaspoons of sugar for breakfast. And we know what happens to all that sugar, right? And if you happen to have a sugar sensitivity, meaning you crave sugar and are prone to binging on it, struggling with weight, and have energy fluctuations, especially around 3 p.m., a grain-based breakfast is not for you. Grains are high carb, low protein, and can potentially cause an energy crash a few hours after eating. Additionally, this physiology type has a higher need for protein and fat to keep their blood sugars levels stable. High carb meals don't make them feel as good. So, sorry, I didn't make the rules. In addition, if you happen to struggle with GI issues like bloating, reflux, IBS, Crohn's, or any other inflammatory condition, oatmeal and grain-based breakfasts are not for you either. Grains can be very irritating to your GI tract due to the lectins and phytic acid, which contribute to more inflammation. Gut irritants like grains and legumes may contribute to flares. If you suffer from the 3 p.m. energy crash or the mid-morning crash, a grain-based breakfast isn't for you. The higher carb meals equal naps. The answer? If any of the above sound like you, focus on protein and vegetables for breakfast. Or if you're in a hurry, try a protein smoothie, which I'll share with you a good example later on this week. Oatmeal and grain-based refined cereals lack certain macronutrients. Micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. Macronutrients are fats and protein. If you're going to eat food, make it count. Focus on the biggest nutritional bang for your buck. Antioxidants, proteins, beneficial fatty acids. If you really miss your oatmeal, there are tons of grain-free porridge recipes out there that won't give you a crash, such as the one that I'm going to share with you today. The majority of Americans are overdoing carbs, especially refined carbs. Think bagels, breads, pastries, pasta, and it's basically the number one reason that we have so many obese people today is because they are eating empty calories. They're basically starving themselves nutritionally, so they're never satisfied. Our hunger won't shut down until its nutritional requirements are met. In general, I don't recommend daily grain-based breakfast because there are far better nutrient-dense options out there, like protein and vegetable-based meals that provide you with adequate protein, good fatty acids, and plenty of antioxidants to fuel your day. And if you do choose oatmeal, I would recommend making it with a non-dairy, full-fat milk alternative as opposed to plain water, adding a protein powder or an egg to it for added protein. Don't load it up with excess fruit sugars or sweeteners. Berries are always a good option because they are a low-sugar fruit. Adding some walnuts are great for fat, and also some chia seeds. That said, please avoid all box convenience cereals, bars, instant packaged oatmeal at breakfast. This is not real food, having been refined, adulterated, and pumped with synthetic ingredients your body doesn't recognize, not to mention the added sugar. It's a simple choice. Just eat real food. Understand that the food industry is a profit-driven industry just like any other for-profit business, and they don't have your best interest at heart. Keep eating the food your body was designed to eat, which is food in its natural state. I have a simple rule of thumb. If it's made on a plant, it's safe to eat. If it's made in a plant, also known as a factory, it's not a good bet to eat. So without any further ado, you can review my delicious, filling, flavorful, and energy-packed cinnamon apple breakfast porridge along with this video, which is completely grain-free and dairy-free. That is truly a perfect breakfast to warm your family's hearts and tummy on any cold morning. Namaste.